One,
Yep, see it. We got it.
you got it?
Ready to go.
Okay.
Thanks while we're getting everybody lined up here. All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our June 23rd, 2021 Mayfield Board of Education meeting. Mr. Snyder, can I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Finaro.
Here.
Ms. Grosek.
Here.
Mr. Hess.
Here.
Mr. Hughes.
George, you're on mute. There you go.
Here.
And
There you
Mr.
go.
Tressi.
Here.
Thank
Sorry
you.
about that.
No problem. Welcome, everybody. We have some special guests that we have lined up here. We have a big section. Our next section is honor section. It's a load of honors. It's great to see all these awards and everything these students have done. So I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Kelly to go through this list for us.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Finaro. We're still waiting for Robert Curtis to pop in and Rafaela to come in. Oh, here comes Rafaela now. So let's give her a couple of minutes here, if you guys don't mind.
No
She should
problem.
be coming in, and I think probably Robert will pop in here in a little bit as well. Hi, Rafaela.
Hi.
How are you? Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, of course.
Good to see you. But Mr. Farrell, yes, we have several special guests and honorees with us tonight, live here on Zoom, and also several watching on YouTube live stream. So students out there watching on live stream, we're all going to wave to you right now. Hello, good to see you all. Thanks for watching and thanks for popping in so we can honor you tonight. Here with us on Zoom are Rafaela Neravia, Max Rollins, Johnny Gaudio, Robert Curtis is on his way, and Jackie Lonsway, and of course, creative writing teacher, Kari Berry. Rafaela is going into, Rafaela, wave again, so everybody knows who you are. Your name, you're a little dark there. Rafaela is going into her sophomore year at Mayfield High School. Rafaela won second place in the Maltz Museum of Jewish Heritage Stop the Hate Youth Speak Out essay contest. There were more than 3,000 submissions for this contest. Rafaela, that's very impressive. Congratulations. We're really proud of you. Your essay was fabulous. It sends a very powerful message to all of us. And gosh, I wish we could all write like you, that's for sure. That is just absolutely wonderful. So congratulations. Kari Berry is also here with us. Kari, wave to everyone. She is the creative writing teacher at Mayfield High School. And Kari was named the Stop the Hate Teacher of the Year. Ms. Berry received a $1,000 cash award for her personal commitment to anti-bias education. Kari, congratulations to you. And I know you've been such an inspiration to all of the kids in your class. So many of them have done so much great work and have produced so many creative pieces that have been recognized in many different ways over the years, that's for sure. So I know you are very, very proud of your students. So thank you for that. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Next, Jackie Lonsway and Robert Curtis are with us. Robert Curtis, not quite yet. To accept on behalf of the entire creative writing team, a recognition that is an incredible first for Mayfield. And I mean an incredible first to Mayfield. In partnership with the Roots of American Music and Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the Maltz Museum celebrates voices standing up to bias and bigotry through the Stop the Hate Youth Sing Out contest. Mayfield High School's creative writing class, under the direction of Kari, won first place for their song Daybreak. And I'm going to say the name of the song again because you're going to want to look it up. The name of the song is Daybreak. And they received a $3,500 grant to be used for anti-bias education. You can hear the song on soundcloud.com, Roots of American Music, and I would advise you to check it out. It is again, very, very inspiring. So great work. I know many of the songwriting team are out there watching, so I would like to recognize all of you by reading your names. Catherine Agresta, Abigail Antonelli Balavia, Sean Averell, Mary Jo Batesald, John Carroll, Matthew Curtis, Robert Curtis, Ariella DeMonte, Emily DeCivigis, Kayla Dublin, Sydney Ferentz, Ilona Grazi, Riel Hubbard, Amber Johnson, Hannah Kinzel, Alexandra Kupmanik, Jackie Lonsway, Sincere Lucas, Kayla Roberts, Juliana Simpson, Caitlin Simpson, Gianna Samrock, and Grace Wild. What a fantastic piece of music and lyrics really that you created. It's just beautiful. I just would really encourage everybody to go check that out. So fantastic. Congratulations to you all. Now we're going to move on with some honors under the direction of Mary Fash. The Science Olympiad team had an outstanding year. Thank you, Mary. I know you had some challenges with COVID to bring about so many awards. With us to accept the awards for the entire Science Olympiad team are Max Rollins and Johnny Gaudio. You guys wave to everybody out there so they know who you are. Thank you. Thanks for joining us. The team won numerous awards, including a 5th place regional final finish, a 6th place state finish, which is the first state Science Olympiad trophy in the history of Mayfield High School. How about that? That's pretty cool. So that is very cool. So congratulations. That's really neat. Also, several small student teams placed at the regional and state competitions for their work in a variety of categories. All of these awards, along with the students who won them, are listed on the board meeting agenda. Each student has received a certificate from us honoring them. But let me just give you just a few of the categories. I'm not going to name them all because there are many, but check out these categories where students competed: Circuit Lab, Designer Genes, Detector Buildings, Digital Structures, Dynamic Planet, Experimental Design, Fossils, Geological Mapping, Gravity Vehicle, Ornithology, CAD, and just so many more. Just think about the things that these students are involved in and what that's going to mean for our communities in our nation and our world moving forward. So thank you guys for following your passions and developing your skills and all of those things, because you're going to do amazing stuff as you move forward in your lives. So thank you. But I want to read the names of the Science Olympiad team as well. Nasim Aja, Alvin Kai, Michael Chen, Dennis Chu, Ethan Fong, Jenny Fu, Jillian Gambino, Johnny Gaudio, Victor Golzak, Anish Kulkarni, Daniel Musi, Vaishnavi Nayak, Max, McKenna Roy, Amelia Russell, Jenny Sarkar, Pranav Sampale, Leah Stifler, Matthew Thomas, Yukon Wang, Benjamin Wayner, and Grace Wild. Congratulations to all you guys. I'm glad you're watching. Amazing work. Keep going. Keep following your dreams and your passion.
Congratulations to all.
To all. That kind of sums it up, Mr. Finaro.
Thank you. Great. Congratulations, all of you, and thank you for being with us. What you do and what your teachers help you with is truly amazing. I had the opportunity to listen to that song. I do suggest, like Dr. Kelly said, please go listen to it. It is an amazing song. You guys did a great job, and congratulations with that state placement, first time in Mayfield's history. It's awesome. So congratulations. And thank you for being with us, and enjoy the rest of your summer.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you. Round of applause for you all. Thank you.
Right. Very good. Now with that, we're going to move to the section 3, which is president's announcements. Everybody bear with me. I'm going to bounce around a little bit in this section. So try to keep track with your notes here and see what we got here. I got to move something around first. So the first item under president's announcements I want to mention is item B, which is a reminder of our suspension of public comments while we are virtual. Back in April of 2020, when our meetings went virtual, we suspended public comment. We approved an alternative for the public to address any agenda item. Anyone could send in an email to the board office and a response was provided. Over the past 16 months, we received very few questions and all were addressed. And I want to remind everyone that most people do not wait for monthly board meetings to contact the board or administration. Community communications at board meetings are not the only way that the board or administrators hear from the public about any positive comments, issues, or any other thoughts about the district. And it's not the only way the community hears from us. As members who live in this community, our board, superintendent, and staff members hear from constituents throughout the year in a variety of ways. When we're out in public, at school sporting events, fundraising events for the schools, in restaurants, in church, we talk with people. We have phone calls and emails which we respond to. We hear from family members, friends, and neighbors who have children attending the schools, friends who work in the schools, and the staff. Dr. Kelly, throughout this pandemic, has done a great job keeping everyone informed about what we were doing to deal with the situation and how our student and staff were getting through it. And prior to the start of the 2020-21 school year, Dr. Kelly and his administrative team sent out a Return to Learn booklet that contained a vast amount of information. We also send out a very informative newsletter to the whole community on a regular basis. And finally, I'd like to say under this, this portion of this agenda item that, I have to say that 99% of the conversations I have with community members are very positive about the district, the things that we're doing, how we are learning, teaching kids, and what we do to protect kids and our staff. So I congratulate everybody on the work they did this year. I want to move then to item C. We have alternative public participation. We have 2 written statements tonight that came into us. And I want to make sure for the record that under our board policies pertaining to community communications, that anyone wanting to add a statement to the agenda, which is not addressing an agenda item, that statement needs to be submitted at least 5 school or working days before the meeting. This first statement was not submitted to the board office within the required 5 school working days. We decided to allow it into the minutes and to be read. Although it contains harsh criticisms and may have some alleged untruths, we wanted to make sure it was added in the spirit of transparency. So the first statement comes from Katie Havel, 1738 Mayfair Boulevard, Mayfield Heights, Ohio, dated June 18th, 2021. And it states, "Dear members of the Board of Education, it has been 16 months since the temporary ban on public comments has been issued due to the coronavirus emergency. While this temporary ban was understandable in the first few weeks, it is appalling that you have used this pandemic to keep the public, and most importantly, parents in the district, out of crucial communication during a once-in-a-lifetime event that directly affects our children. Considering none of our BOE members have a student enrolled in our district, it was imperative to openly communicate with those of us who are entrusting our greatest priorities to you. There is no reason comments couldn't have been submitted electronically and read into the minutes like every other surrounding district and city council who chose to stay with virtual meetings. Many of you members ran campaigns with a commitment to transparency. This is an exclusion to the many community members and parents who chose to address the BOE formally. I've reached out many times to see if this portion could be amended in order to be more effective and to better serve the community as a whole, but many times ignored. And therefore lies the problem, the ability to pick and choose what you respond to while silencing parents on your own discretion. Another example was 3 years ago when I encountered a problem with Keith Kelly. I contacted each of you with my concern. Sadly, according to Mr. Hess, you all ignored my phone calls on the directive from Mr. Keith Kelly. However, whether by accident or design, Mr. Tresser was the only one that answered, but when I reached out to him, his exact response to me was, "I don't know you. I've known Keith for over 6 years though." When I reminded him that he was supposed to represent me as an elected official, he said he could not help me and then hung up. I would like to take the moment to remind each of you that your positions are elected and that you are here to serve the residents, not the superintendent. Although I have great faith in the man that is our new superintendent and that Dr. Barnes will not abuse the power in the district nor harass or intimidate the parents, especially mothers in the district, which I have found a staggering amount of them, with threats of arrest, lawsuits, and even using school resource officers to follow people in our district. My hope is that when Dr. Barnes arrives, that you will remember your jobs are to be checks and balances of this community. There are 3 seats up for re-election, and when we come for your jobs, everyone in this town will remember whose side you were on. Please remember your oath and who you promised to serve. Sincerely, Katie Havel. Thank you, Mrs. Havel, for your statement. And our second statement comes from Samantha Belfiore. Ms. Belfiore got the statement in the required time to attach to our agenda and be added into the minutes and read. So Samantha Belfiore for 1301 East Minor, mother of children at Millridge Elementary School. She writes, with the state mask mandates being lifted as of June 2nd, 2021, I am writing to inquire the district's stance and decision towards mask requirements in the schools for the upcoming 2021-2022 school year. Will the district continue to require our children to wear masks, or will it be optional? With all that we know scientifically in terms of the ineffectiveness of masks and children being at little to no risk for COVID, it would seem both irresponsible and detrimental to continue this mask requirement. In addition, all of the Mayfield City School District staff that elected to get vaccinated are now fully vaccinated. We have seen multiple examples of Mayfield schools allowing numerous sports and sporting events to occur throughout the past school year without masks, despite the guidelines supposedly being used to dictate the school stance on safety protocols. If we continue to require the masking of our children in schools, that is downright hypocritical. The multitude of research indicates that detrimental and damaging effects on children's social, emotional, and psychological health as a result of mask wearing. For an entire school year, the children in this district, children as young as 5 years old, have been asked to wear a mask for the entirety of the school day, even during outdoor recess. They have not been able to sit and socialize with peers, being isolated at their desks behind trifold barriers during the majority of their day, even at lunchtime, one of the only times in the children's day that normally will allow them the necessity to connect and interact with their peers. The social and emotional toll this past school year has inflicted on the children of this district is inexcusable. They deserve to see the faces of their peers. They deserve to see the faces of their teachers. They deserve to breathe fresh air. My hope is that the district will not simply reply, "We will wait and see," as it so often has replied to many of the unknowns during this pandemic. We know now so much more at this point in time about the virus. While the CDC and Cuyahoga County Board of Health can continue to make recommendations, we have to remember that they are just that, recommendations. The CDC and CCBH have zero legal or moral authority. As a matter of fact, EUA, emergency use authorization products, are by definition experimental, which requires people be given the right to refuse them. Under the Nuremberg Code, the foundation of ethical medicine, no one may be coerced to participate in a medical experiment. Consent of the individual is absolutely essential. The mandate for any individual to wear a mask against COVID-19 for attendance at an institution violates federal law. All COVID masks are considered EAUs, and there's a document that was attached. In addition, multiple studies are exhibiting alarming data, indicating school children's masks are contaminated with a myriad of harmful, sometimes potentially fatal pathogens. One particular study out of Florida occurred in which a group of parents sent their children's masks to the University of Florida's Mass Spectrometry Research and Education Center for analysis. The results indicated 11 alarming dangerous pathogens, that of which include the following. And I'm going to just pause for a second and say there's medical terms here. So any medical staff out there, I'm sorry if I botch a lot of this up, but I'm going to try my best here. So the first item is Streptococcus pneumonia, which is pneumonia, Mycobacterium tuberculosis, otherwise known as tuberculosis, Neisseria meningitis and sepsis, Acanthamoeba polyphagia, keratitis and granulomatous amoebic encephalitis, and Acinetobacter baumannii, pneumonia, bloodstream infections, meningitis, UTIs that are resistant to antibiotics, E. coli, which is food poisoning, Borrelia burgdorferi causes Lyme disease, Corynebacterium diphtheria is diphtheria, Legionella pneumophila is Legionnaire's disease, and Staphylococcus pyogenes stereotype M3, severe infections with high morbidity rates. And then finally, Staphylococcus aureus, which is meningitis sepsis. Half of the masks were contaminated with one or more strains of pneumonia causing bacteria. 1/3 were contaminated with one or more strains of meningitis causing bacteria. 1/3 were contaminated with dangerous antibiotic resistant bacterial pathogens. Not a single one of the control group masks was found to have any harmful pathogens on it. As a district and as a school board, it is your duty to make decisions that are in the best interest for our students. That is what you have been elected to do. The children deserve a chance at a normal school year, one without masks, one that allows them to be children, smiling, laughing, socializing, interacting, and learning, maskless. Some parents may choose to continue to have their children wear a mask while others will not. Let that choice be up to the parents, those with a vested interest in the child. Thank you for your time. I look forward to your response. Sincerely, Samantha Belfiore. Ms. Belfiore, thank you for your comment. And then I am going to move back up now to the president's announcements. Take a break a second here. Okay. The president's announcements. With this being Dr. Kelly's last board meeting, I wanted to again congratulate him on his upcoming retirement, wish him and his family all the best, and thank him for his leadership over these past 9 years. We have seen a lot in the past 9 years. We've seen the redesign of the old library into the Innovation Center, district-wide Wi-Fi in school buildings, maker spaces in elementary schools, the innovation area in the middle school, numerous renovations in all our schools, devices for all students and staff, the options program, STEAM Bus, Green Tie Gala, year after year record ACT scores, record number of AP classes taken and tests given, multiple national and state awards recognizing our schools and staff. And that's just to name a few that I could come up with right away. As you could see from our honors section that we had earlier, you witnessed some of the great things happening here all year round in the Mayfield School District. And I just want to take a step back for a moment to look back at the past year. I do not want to overshadow all the accomplishments I just mentioned and all the ones that I didn't mention, but this past 16 months has been tough and has been tough on everyone. And it reminds me of a quote by Paulo Coelho, who's a writer and a lyricist. And he said, "When we least expect it, life sets us a challenge to test our courage and willingness to change. At such a moment, there is no point in pretending that nothing has happened or in saying that we are not yet ready. The challenge will not wait. Life does not look back." And we all realize the challenges that this pandemic was forcing upon us as a district. We did not have the opportunity to sit back and say we are not ready to deal with this. We could have taken the easy path and kept everyone at home learning and working, but we chose to do what was best for students. And we all knew that what was best for students was being in school for their social, emotional, and academic growth. Having this opportunity to witness firsthand Dr. Kelly, the administration, and staff's commitment to learning and making sure that the students and staff were safe while doing this was a major undertaking. We met adversity head on and reinvented the learning experience. We also provided an opportunity for families who were not comfortable sending their children to school to learn from home. If it wasn't for the leadership of this board, Dr. Kelly, the administration, the work of the staff, and the trust our students, families have in us, we would not have successfully navigated through this crisis. We are here to do what is best for students, staff, in this district. And I'm not trying to say everything we did was 100% right, but part of being successful is learning from mistakes and making the corrections. But for the 70% of the families that wanted their children in school learning, and for the other 30% that felt safer keeping their children learning from home, we were very successful. So Dr. Kelly, my fellow board members, district staff, and the Mayfield community, thank you for working through this past year with us to make this the best possible school year for children, given the circumstances. And please remember, together we did it. Thank you. That I'm going to move now on to our superintendent's announcements.
Well, thank you, Mr. Fanara. Just, thank you for all those comments, and thank you to the board. First, it's been the honor, and a privilege of a lifetime and really of a professional career to be part of the Mayfield family, and especially to watch a lot of things you mentioned come true because of the hard work of so many people, kids and teachers and parents that created and implemented ways of engaging and learning that are very relevant in today's world. And it's always been the Mayfield tradition to provide those pathways and those experiences and adjust with the times. And I'm glad I could serve to be a part to be part of that. You as a board were amazing in terms of your vision to help make those things happen. You know, our administrative team has so many talented people, so many great leaders. I think sometimes, you know, they're kind of behind the scenes and maybe don't get the recognition for their leadership and the tough things that they do day in and day out. You know, you see our students, and our students are, you saw them earlier today. They're, you know, they are amazing young people, all of them, not just some, but all of them with so much potential. And it was a pleasure to be here, you know, every day, seeing kids almost every day, seeing students every day, young adults, younger children, the smiles on their faces, and what they go through in school is incredible. It's like no other place I've experienced in my career, and I've been in some really terrific school districts in my career. Actually, all of them were terrific, but Mayfield has a special feel to it because of the people. With regards to the pandemic, yeah, it's been tough. There's no doubt about that. But I think the way that we took it on, you guys especially, in terms of threading the needle, as one person said we were trying to do, I thought that was a great term. Yeah, we did try to thread the needle. We tried to thread the needle, keeping students in mind, trying to keep them in school as much as possible, learning, socializing as much as possible, and as much normalcy. Was it perfect? Absolutely not. It wasn't perfect. But despite all the opinions on all sides of this, and some of the vitriol on all sides of this, and some of the harsh criticism and the Monday morning quarterbacking, we stayed the course. We stayed the course because we kept the kids at the center. And you know, I think we can, while we learned a lot, and we learned a lot that I think will help improve us in the future. I think we can be proud of our work. That's for sure. So I just want to thank each and every one of you for the opportunity, for me and my family, and what you've done for me personally and professionally. You know, I consider you my friends, and it's just been awesome to know you.
Thank you, Dr. Kelly. And I do have to agree with you. We stayed the course. We made our decision. We stuck to it. I've been on calls with other board presidents where I've heard them bouncing back and forth from hybrid to in person to going totally back a remote, and it was driving parents crazy. It was not a good thing to hear from some of these districts, and I appreciate us, all of us, staying the course. Go ahead.
I've got to give one shout out to the Cleveland Clinic and the medical community around Cleveland. Provide us UH as well. Provided us so much insight. It was incredible to be able to pick up the phone at any time and try to learn something or interpret data, or to get numbers and trends was so helpful. So thank you to Cleveland Clinic, all the folks there, particularly Dr. Parker, and others at UH, just incredible. Mary Beth Mack, so many that were so helpful to us along the way.
All right, thank you. Anything else? All right, I'm going to move on to the board member committee reports. Are there any reports tonight?
I have a brief report, Mr. President.
Mr. S., we're all set.
Okay, the Tax Incentive Review Committee of the Board of Education met on Thursday, May 27th, with the Cuyahoga County Commission to review the status of the tax abatements, for both the city of Highland Heights and Mayfield Village. The Highland Heights fiscal officer indicated that the COVID-19 pandemic had resulted in reduced economic activity for a couple of their businesses that benefit from the tax abatement, and they therefore could not meet their employment and payroll goals. It is hoped that with the economy returning to some semblance of normalcy will result in positive local business performance. The commission approved the continuance of all abatements because of the operational results were out of the control of the business. That was for Highland Heights. Now Mayfield Village, the fiscal officer reported that the infrastructure improvements associated with the tax abatements will be paid off within the current calendar year, and therefore the abatements should be terminated. The commission approved the continuance of the abatements pending a legal review by the village legal counsel to determine if the payment of the debt is sufficient. Sufficient basis for the termination. So they were approved, and it looks like next year Mayfield Village will not have any abatements going on. And Mr. Snyder, I didn't know if you wanted to add anything to that. No, okay,
Oh, he's good. We got it.
okay, that was my report.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Hess.
Thank you.
Thanks for the information. The only thing I had was Mayfield Schools Foundation is having their golf outing on August 4th. I know Mr. Snyder's the co-chair, so I look to him to answer some of these questions. You can go to mayfieldschoolfoundation.org. Is that the right website? I was trying to look it up on my email. I couldn't find it right now doing this.
I believe that's correct. It is
Okay.
mayfieldschools.org.
Okay, so I ask anybody who would like to participate in that. I know a couple of our board members have made donations. I appreciate that. I will make a donation for a flag for one of the holes on behalf of the Mayfield Board of Education. I will send that in sometime this week, Mr. Snyder. That'll be going into that. So we're looking forward to a successful event. Well, Mr. Snyder, you're the chairman, so we hope that you do well.
I would like to clarify, yeah, me too.
Sure.
That the website is mayfieldschoolsfoundation.org. So the foundation is at the end of that. So and all the event information is out there. We're really excited, and it will be again held at the Stonewater Golf Course in Highland Heights. And it's going to be an interesting revised format. If you're not a really good golfer like myself, but you want to go out, we've got other ways in which you can enjoy the day, enjoy the events, and have some good fellowship along the way.
I heard you have your own greenskeeper that follows you around. I don't know if that's true or not. That's what I heard.
That might be fiction.
All right. All right. So moving on. No more. I don't think there's any more reports. Moving on to our number 6 superintendent's consent agenda, items A through S. I'll make the motion. Could I have a second?
So moved.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Ms. Grosek,
Yes.
Mr. Hess,
Yes,
Mr. Hughes,
Yes.
Mr. Teresi,
Yes.
Mr. Finaro.
Yes. Our next item 7, other superintendent's business. We have the 2021-2022 Mayfield High School Student Handbook. I'll make the motion. Could I have a second?
second,
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Ms. Grosek,
Yes.
Mr. Hess,
yes,
Mr. Hughes,
Yes.
Mr. Teresi,
Yes.
Mr. Finaro.
Yes. Our next item is item 8, Treasurer's Report. We have letter A, financial statements for May 31st, 2021. I'll make the motion. Could I have a second?
So moved. George.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Ms. Grosek,
Yes.
Mr. Hess,
yes,
Mr. Hughes,
Yes.
Mr. Teresi,
Yes.
Mr. Finaro.
Yes. The final item in that section is the financial transactions. I'll make the motion. We need a second.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Ms. Grosek,
Yes.
Mr. Hess,
yes,
Mr. Hughes,
Yes.
Mr. Teresi,
Yes.
Mr. Finaro.
Yes. Item 9, other treasurer's business. We have the first item is the minutes of our regular board meeting on May 19th, 2021. I'll make the motion. I need a second.
So moved.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Ms. Grosek,
Yes.
Mr. Hess,
Yes.
Mr. Hughes,
Yes.
Mr. Teresi,
Yes.
Mr. Fenaro.
Yes. Next item is petty cash for 2021, 2022. I'll make the motion. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Hughes. Roll call, please.
Ms. Grosek,
Yes.
Mr. Hess,
Yes.
Mr. Hughes,
Yes.
Mr. Teresi,
Yes.
Mr. Fenaro.
Yes. Next item is our College Credit Plus Partnership Agreement with Lakeland Community College, the first addendum. I'll make the motion. Can I have a second?
Second.
Second. Third.
Mr. Hess. Thank you. Can I have a roll call, please?
Ms. Grosek,
Yes.
Mr. Hess,
Yes.
Mr. Hughes,
Yes.
Mr. Teresi,
Yes.
Mr. Fenaro.
Yes. And the final item is the Uniform Depository Act interim and active fund estimates, addendum number 1. I'll make the motion. Can I have a second?
So moved.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Grosek,
Yes.
Mr. Hess,
Yes.
Mr. Hughes,
Yes.
Mr. Teresi,
Yes.
Mr. Fenaro.
Yes. Under item 10, other board business, we have a professional meeting. I'll make the motion for approval. Could I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Ms. Grosek,
Yes.
Mr. Hess,
Yes.
Mr. Hughes,
Yes.
Mr. Teresi,
Yes.
Mr. Fenaro.
Yes. Next item is a walk-in addendum, change in compensation. Superintendent walk-in addendum, attachment number 1. I'll make the motion. Could I have a second?
So
Second.
moved.
Mr. Teresi.
Thank you. It was a tie. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Ms. Grosek,
Yes.
Mr. Hess,
Yes.
Mr. Hughes,
Yes.
Mr. Teresi,
Yes.
Mr. Fenaro.
Yes. And the final item under the other board business, we have in memoriam, Clara Chikina passed away peacefully on June 10th, 2021 at the age of 94 years. Ms. Chikina is fondly remembered by many at Mayfield High School, from which she retired in 1989 after 17 years of service. Our condolences are extended to the family of Clara Chikina. And with that, unless we have any other comments, no comments, I will make a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Grosek,
Yes.
Mr. Hess,
Yes.
Mr. Hughes,
Yes.
Mr. Teresi,
Yes.
and Mr. Fenaro.
Yes. Thank you, everybody. Enjoy this
Have a
beautiful
good
evening.
everybody.
Thank you, Keith.
Thanks, Keith.
Yeah.
Keith, where are you?
Thank you, Keith.